Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? Hope everybody's doing all right on this Sunday, April 3rd afternoon. Uh, Having some pretty nice weather where I'm at here down in Jacksonville, Florida. The high today is supposed to be in the low 80s, although we got a lot of rain yesterday. But I'm glad all of you could be here. Um, Somebody made a request last time I went live, and I kind of took their suggestions. And if you look at the backdrop, that might be an indicator as to what I'm going to talk about. Um, I wanted to talk about some TV shows that I used to love watching back in the day. Um, my TV show period. Keep in mind, I was born overseas. My dad being in the military, so I didn't really get a chance to watch primetime television until 1982. So, but when I came to the States, I did watch a lot of your 70s rerun stuff. And then I got into the 60s and the 50s and so on. Um, but, you know, in the 80s, there were a lot of, good TV shows that I used to like to watch. Um, One of the shows well, actually, it's several. One of the shows I used to like to watch back in the 1980s would be right there. How can you not like the Golden Girls? That was Saturday night, NBC, 9 o'clock. And, Saturday night TV back in the 1980s, you really didn't even have to go out anywhere. You had some great shows, like 227, which of course was Marla Gibbs, from the Jeffersons. She got her own series. Amen. Sherman Hemsley got his series, about revolving around the church, which I thought was basically George Jefferson widowed with a daughter instead of a son. Um, and then you had another TV show, let's see, Empty Nest, which was a spinoff of Golden Girls. And then and then of course you had the Facts of Life of, Mrs. Garrett and all that. I used to like that too. But one of my favorite shows come on Saturday night at 10 o'clock. And if those of you that know football, um, Fred Dreyer and, Stephanie Kramer, that cop show. Let's see. Then, and again, I'm talking about the 80s, and then it was pretty much during the week, um, different TV shows that I would watch. Thursday night was good. Night Court. I used to like Hill Street Blues. Cheers, although I prefer Shelley Long over Kirstie Alley. I did have a little bit of a crush on Kirstie as a teenager, but that was about it. And then Monday night I used to watch stuff like Kate and Alley, Murphy Brown, Designing Women, Newhart. Although I still prefer the Bob Newhart show in the 1970s better, where he played a psychiatrist and Suzanne Plachette was his wife. Okay, so let me come over here to the comments. Let's see. All in the Family. Yeah, All in the Family is a good one. Archie Bunker, Rob Reiner, Mike Stivic, Gloria, Sally Struthers, and Edith. And one of the interesting things about All in the Family that a lot of you, I'm sure, know, a lot of spin-offs came from that. The first one was Maude, Edith's cousin, which, you know, if you stop and think about the thought of Maud B. Arthur, who was portrayed basically by Norman Lear's then wife, Frances. That's where the image of Maud came into play. And then Archie, I believe, was a had to do with his father or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, Bob Newhart. Let's see. Room 222. Yeah, that was a good one with Karen Valentine. Dark Shadows. My mom used to love to watch that. That was an awesome show. My mom had a crush on David Selby. Let's see. Love American Style. Yeah, Love American Style is a good one. Most people don't realize that the TV show Happy Days was a spinoff of that. Let's see. TV shows from the 70s was better than the. Well, I can't. I agree with that. Uh, the quality, but I was born in the 70s, and again, I was a small child. In '79, I was 5. So really, anything 70s, I had to catch. In rerun. Um, Here's a good one since we're talking about 1970s TV shows, which is fine. Barnaby Jones. I would much rather watch Buddy Ebsen as that role rather than watch him on the Beverly Hillbillies. Not that there's anything wrong with the Beverly Hillbillies. Cannon, William Conrad, good show. Mannix, Mike Connors. Let's see. Policewoman, Angie Dickinson. Then you have Police Story, which was a spinoff of what Policewoman became. I can't think of the characters on Police Story at the moment, but they were connected. The Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno. Let's see. Oh, two that I absolutely love: $6 Million Man, Lee Majors, Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner. Oh, yeah, Richard, that's a good one. Mission Impossible, Martin Landau. Oh yeah, I tell you what, it's funny that you mentioned Mission Impossible. The theme to that show is actually a ringtone on my phone. So from time to time, I'll throw that in, and it certainly makes people look whenever I use it. Um, oh, Sunset, yeah, Mr. Ed, yeah, I'm Mr. Ed. Yeah, that's a good one. Family Affair, yeah. It's sad what became of the girl that was on Family Affair. Yeah, she, you know, gone too young. Oh, Courtship of Eddie's Father. Yeah, 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 yeah. The little boy, Brandon Cruz, and then of course Bill Bixby coming back to him. Uh, oh, Richard. Yeah, Peter Graves. He's a fantastic actor. I like him in a lot of stuff. The Avengers. Wow, Sunset. Now you're going back. Well, it really doesn't even matter. I like 60s shows too, like Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, The Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, The Lucy Show, Here's Lucy. She pretty much had like 3 or 4 different versions of her show, after I Love Lucy. The Lucy and Desi comedy hour, which followed I Love Lucy. Let's see. Lost in Space. That's a good one. Yeah, the one, yeah, with Will Robinson, June Lockhart. Yeah, that's a good one. Um, you know, I consider myself an old soul. I even like 50 shows. Like I mentioned, I Love Lucy, Lucy and Desi Comedy Hour, Life with Elizabeth. For those that don't know, that's one of Betty White's first sitcoms she ever did. Our Miss Brooks, Eve Arden, The Danny Thomas Show, Make Room for Daddy, which they're they're connected. Um, let me see. Rawhide, Leave It to Beaver, Father Knows Best. Now I'm moving into the early 60s. Hazel was pretty good. Let's see. Yes, Sunset. Yes, I meant to mention Petticoat Junction with Linda Kay Henning and B. Benadere, and then of course when June Lockhart later took over the role. Oh, and since we're in the 1960s, I also liked My Three Sons. That was another good one. Let's see, Richard. Oh, Laugh-In. Excellent, excellent. Joanne Worley, Lily Tomlin, Dick Martin, Ruth Buzzy. I'm probably leaving a few out, but yeah, I liked Laugh-In. That's a good show. That's a real good show, actually. Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah, Mary Tyler Moore is a good one. With Betty White. Of course, we all know if it wasn't for the Mary Tyler Moore show, the TV show Rhoda would have never have evolved or come about. That was a good one. Yes, Richard. Thank you. I appreciate that. That I couldn't think of his name. That's it. Artie Johnson. Yeah, he's that was a funny man. I'll tell you, he was really Nipsey Russell. What I used to like about Nipsey Russell, I can't think of one at the moment, but I used to like those little word rhymes he used to do. You know, that was one of the things about Nipsey um, that stands out to me when I think back. Okay, Sunset. What was that? Okay, thank you, Richard. I was about to quote that right. Bob Denver, Alan Hale, Russell Johnson, Dawn Wells, Tina Louise, Jim Backus, and Natalie Schaefer. I believe I have all the characters or the actor or actresses that was in that. Okay, Richard, the plane, Tattoo, and Mr. Rourke. Yeah, Fantasy Island. I used to watch that on ABC back in the day. I'll tell you another one they've been showing on the Decades channel is the old Vegas with Robert Urich and Greg Morris and Bart Braverman. Let's see. You know what? Wait a minute. What's going on here? What's going on here? Let me see. Hold on just a second. Just a second. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, well, look at here. Look who showed up. Where have
Hi,
you?
everybody. Hey,
Hey,
Steve,
hey,
how are you?
I'm all right.
Guess what? Guess what, Steve? And I have good news for you. I can see the comments this time.
Oh, you can.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes. Wow.
Um,
How's everybody doing this
yeah,
afternoon? Oh, my word.
yeah. Let me see. Sunset. Yes, I am an encyclopedia. I'm probably a little bit more so in the music world, but I'm pretty decently well versed about
Hey,
TV shows
Richard.
as well. Oh, Love Boat. Love Boat. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, Bernie Capel, Gavin McLeod, Lauren Tews, Fred Grandy. Oh, I loved the Love Boat. That was a good show. Uh, let's see,
Thank you,
Monty Python.
Sunset.
Yeah, Monty Python and oh wow. Okay, those are good too. And while you're on the subject, Sunset, I just thought of one. Benny Hill. Yeah, and I'll tell you another one most people forget too. Most people, okay, Sanford and Son. You
Oh,
know, Red Fox and Damon Wilson. That was originally based on an English show called Steptoe and Son, and it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube if you ever want to look it up. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Um,
guess
yeah,
what? Guess what, Steve? I have to mention this to Richard. Richard, I am your age. So I totally get the it factor with certain things that you mention sometimes on the shows. I was born in December and I turned 63 last December.
yeah, yeah. It was a pleasant surprise when Richard popped in the last live, and I found out that his birthday is only 4 days before mine. I'm like, wow, okay,
Oh my
another
gosh.
October, which you know, but I mean, I just like TV shows in general. I mentioned the '80s because that was my preteen, teenage years, and even as a child, and that was what I saw when I came to the states. Now, another TV show I liked was since Sunset mentioned Mary Tyler Moore, I left out one character, Ted Knight. Don't forget about don't forget about Too Close for Comfort. That was a good one.
It was. That was a good show.
Okay, then there was talk shows, Mike Douglas show, Merv Griffin, and John Davidson. All right, Sunset. I'm glad that you happened to talk about talk shows because I need to kind of tell off on myself. Keep in mind, everybody, I've never had a YouTube channel prior to this. I have no broadcasting radio experience whatsoever. What I do have is back when I was a kid. Thank you, Richard. I'm about to go there. I'm glad you mentioned that. When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of talk shows. Yes, Richard, Phil Donahue was one of them. Sally Jesse Raphael. I did watch the Mike Douglas show. I did watch Merv Griffin. John Davidson. I actually forgot about him. Montel Williams. Um, Johnny Carson. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to watch The Tonight Show, it has to be Johnny. Um, and this is going to throw people for a loop. I know it threw Janet for a loop when I told her years back. Jack Parr. Yeah, Richard, Ricky Lake, she was good. But you know what's funny though about Ricky Lake? It's funny that you bring her up. She had a great run, in the beginning, her, like 93 to into the early 2000s, like '04, that period. Her show was like off the chain. It was great. But then when they tried to bring her show back in 2012, it didn't do so well. It's probably a little bit of a generation thing. So that's what I'm thinking. No, no, Richard, I didn't care for Jerry Springer in his
No. Trash TV at its finest.
prime. Okay, why do I need to watch grown adults older than me act like idiots, imbeciles? Same word, I know. On TV. I mean, at the time, well, my youngest nephew now is 21, but at the time, my youngest nephew was like in elementary school at the time, and whenever he was at his height, and I thought to myself, my nephew's got more intelligence than that. Let's see. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I don't mean to light up like a Christmas tree, but um, Geraldo Rivera. Yes, that was another one I used to like to watch. I still remember that episode where he got his nose broken. I still remember that vividly.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw it live.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, he got bam. I mean, don't get me wrong. Geraldo played it off really well. I mean, he really did. He didn't make a scene. He stayed cool, calm, and collected. I ought to look that episode up on YouTube just to, get it,
Yeah.
because I know that was like back in the late '80s when that happened. Let me see. There was a classic Johnny show with Frank Sinatra, the bald comedian. Okay, wait a minute. Johnny Carson, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. Hold on a minute. I'm going down the list. Jerry Lewis. Are you thinking of Don Rickles? Well, Don Rickles was not exactly bald, but he did have like a receding hairline. So, that I think back. Um, but I think I know what you might be talking about there, Sunset. Let's see.
I have a question for your viewers, Steve, if you don't mind.
All right.
How many of the viewers watching, if you're embarrassed to answer it, don't answer it. How many of the viewers watching live right now are below 65? Thank you.
No. You please feel free to, if you want to. No, definitely. Let's see. One episode on Geraldo. One episode was women addicted to being pregnant. I remember that. I actually forgot about that. Yes, That was a good episode.
I know, Richard. Me too.
You know what? I need to go back.
58, great year, and that's a nice age too.
I was just mentioning. You know how I feel about 1958. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You had some real good music out there. Well, the 50s in general. I mean, but I know that was the other day. But yeah.
You mentioned three
Um,
of my absolutely favorite shows, of which I belong to the groups too. Leave It to Beaver. Well, I just recently left Father Knows Best. There's a little story to that. Father Knows Best, Leave It to Beaver, and Hazel.
yeah, I mentioned Hazel
I
a
heard.
little bit. Oh, you did a little bit earlier in the show. I'm trying to think what else did I leave out, but there's a lot of shows. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on. Partridge Family. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. That was okay. Of
Richard could
course,
relate. That was our time, like when we were probably about what, 11, 12?
yeah. Now Richard happens to mention the Brady Bunch, which that was
Yes.
about the same time as the Partridge Family ran.
Oh, that whole
They're
lineup was the
pretty.
same night, Steve. It was the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family, and the Love American Style.
See, I wouldn't know that because I was probably a baby at that point.
I don't think even you. I'm trying to think. Well, the Brady Bunch came out in 1969. Believe it or not,
But it
kind of
ended
late.
in yeah, but it end now the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch ended in '74. That
Me
I do
too,
know.
Richard. I love the Partridge Family too.
Yeah, I loved Shirley Jones. I thought she was so. I loved
Still
her
do.
character. Now, when I think of the Partridge Family, I got to revert back to the '80s for a minute. Susan Day. Susan Day. I remember her later in. She did L.A. Law,
Right.
which I loved.
Yes.
I love with Corbin Burnson and Jimmy Smits and you know shoot, I can't think of the guy's name. Alan Rachins, that's it. He wound up playing dad on Dharma and Greg years later.
Dark
Um,
Shadows. That came on in the afternoon. It was sort of like a weird kind of soap opera, right,
it
Steve?
was, it was, yeah. I need to mention it. The okay, what we like that starts with an A and ends with an N. If you go and look up on their video lineup, you can watch Dark Shadows for free.
Oh, cool.
It's there. So if you ever get the urge to want to, revert back, definitely.
Wow.
Um,
Sunset remembers the channels and the show times. Very cool.
see that was back when CBS, NBC, and ABC had great TV. You didn't have to have cable. And then, of course, when I became a teenager, then you had another network called Fox, FOX, and of course, I remember shows like 21 Jump Street, that spawned Johnny Depp's career, and then you had the Tracy Ullman show. Without Tracy Ullman, you wouldn't have The Simpsons, which in turn, if you stop and think about it, that is the longest running TV show that has ever existed on television. That's been on since '89. So that's going into like its 33rd or 34th season and still going strong. Let me see. Let's
Only
see.
one problem with the old days TV, and it was just one problem. If you really wanted to see a show and something came up and you couldn't get to your apartment or house to watch it, tough toenails till next week. No DVRing, no let me catch it on YouTube, no snippets. That was it. That's why people ran to their TVs at night. But Steve,
Well,
I do have a confession about the Roseanne show. I think you might know it. I ran home like from work and I warned my whole family. I said, listen, this is mom's time now. Everybody leave me alone. That means no phone calls. When the Roseanne show went on the air in 88, I didn't want any phone calls. I didn't care. I didn't care what happened. If there was a thunderstorm, I had to watch that show. That was
let
it.
me okay, Roseanne was Tuesday ABC. And that was I used to watch okay, let me think back now because 88's not exactly yesterday, but Who's the Boss? Roseanne, The Wonder Years, which was cool. They brought it back. Look, I'm glad Fred Savage is behind it, but The Wonder Years. Let's see. All right, I believe, don't quote me on this, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Then you had Moonlighting. with Sybil Shepherd and
I think so. Yeah.
That was cool. That was a good. I didn't mind that. And then you had another show called 30 something, which wasn't too bad. Um, you know, let's see.
Richard, I agree with you. I miss the old days too. Sunset cartoons, Bullwinkle. You know, Bullwinkle used to go on at night, Steve. When when it was first run, I was talking about that with a friend of mine. Bullwinkle used to go on at night, and I would sit with my family, watch Bullwinkle, Johnny Quest, which went on right after the
I remember
Munsters.
Johnny Quest. Yeah. Let's see. Bullwinkle, Casper the Friendly Family Ghost. Those are wow. I forgot. You know
Hi,
what?
Linda.
I actually forgot about Magilla Gorilla. I actually forgot about. Yeah, Richard Bugs Bunny. You know what? I have that. What is it? That Cartoon Network. I still
Mhm.
watch. I still watch old episodes of Bugs Bunny.
Okay, I admit it. Like I watch some of them too, and I
Yeah.
can't blame my daughter anymore because she's a grown woman out on her own. So I watch them because I watch them sometimes.
You know, Richard mentions he had the Bugs Bunny pajamas with the feet.
Oh, that's
Well,
cute.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the exact
Scooby
set. I don't
too.
know if it was the exact set of pajamas, but I had Bugs Bunny pajamas too. Then later in, when Superman, the first Superman, back in '78, when Christopher Reeve, I got so infatuated with Superman. I had to have Superman sheets, Superman uh, pajamas. I had to have Superman everything.
Oh yeah,
I got so infatuated with Superman as a little boy. Let me see.
amazing.
Scooby Doo. Yeah. Most people forget that Casey Kasem was the voice of Shaggy. Let's see. Oh
Linda
my.
said she likes the few of the old Carol Burnett episodes. So funny. I agree. They're still rerunning them.
Okay. Carol Burnett. One of, if not, the best TV shows that ever come about, and I'll tell you why. What I like about Carol Burnett, what you saw being shown was done in one take. There were no do-overs.
It sounds like my program. I'd
And
like to get them all done in one take.
and sometimes, like for example, there's an episode of or the skit where they used to do the Mama and Eunice skit on, we of course that Mama's Family came from that. But there was one where they were playing a game of Sorry. And what happened was is Vicki Lawrence's mama, she just starts rattling it off and it was off script. You're playing hockey with a warped puck. Somebody blew your pilot light out. You got splinters in the windmills of your mind. All of that was all done off script. And if you look at Carol Burnett with her back turned, she's literally laughing her butt off. She doesn't know how to handle that. And then not long after that, then Vicki Lawrence as Mama starts laughing in sync. That's one of the things I like about that show. It was done right then and there. There were no do-overs. So I still, and yeah, Richard, it does come on MeTV. I think it comes on like at 10 or 11 at night. But yeah, I do.
Linda, I agree with you. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like sometimes there's this cartoon show that comes on at 7:00 in the morning. Like when I've had it with the news, like you watch the news and you like hear this, hear that. I'm like, then I'll just like put that like cartoon thing on. Of course, before the Beaver. Just saying.
Yeah.
I
Now,
mean,
yes, agree. Cartoons today are pathetic. It's not really a new cartoon. They show it a lot on Comedy Central. Not a fan of it, never been a fan of it, and I'd like to choke one of the characters. I'm not kidding. South Park, I have never been a fan of that.
Oh no, that kind of cartoon. No, I like the classics like that's on MeTV. Correct,
Yeah.
Richard. That's what I have on at 7:00. I forget the name of that show. But it's a good one.
What was okay? The Flintstones. Yeah, I can
Yay,
watch the Flintstones.
Flintstones.
I can watch that day, night, rain, shine. I mean, I never get
Who
tired of
still
it.
has their jelly glass with the Flintstones on it?
Oh,
Welch's
wow.
grape jelly was sold with the Flintstones imprinted on the glass. Everybody ran to the store to get one of those collectibles.
Oh, What was the cartoon with the Russian accents? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. Wait, a couple on those Bullwinkles, right? With the Natasha or something. Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, Richard. It's kind of like you have to develop an acquired taste for that show.
Um, I'm over here, the expression on my face, because I have to agree.
Yeah.
Richard, Richard, I was never really a fan of Beavis and Butthead. They were, let me tell you, I, me, I am of the real, and I put, notice how I use real, of the MTV generation when they showed music videos. TV shows like Beavis and Butthead is what killed it out.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. No, Richard, that's the reason why I had that expression on my face because I read your comment. But I'm not. I'm not a fan of. I'm not really. Never was a fan of Beavis and Butthead. It was too quirky. Too. Um, there is still Flintstone vitamins. I took those as a kid.
Yeah, those came out in the 1980s, I believe. I
Or late
believe it's the
70s.
80s or the
Yeah.
late 70s because my daughter, yeah. So she was
Okay.
weaned on those.
Let's see. Bullwinkle. Yeah, that's. And then Natasha. That's what. So Sunset is agreeing with you.
Yes,
That's what I
definitely.
thought. Okay, that's what I thought.
Who remembers Pepe Le Pew?
I do. I'm not. I'm not. You know.
Everywhere he went, people ran.
I like.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I still like my Roadrunner. Meet me. That's the best I can do for now.
Richard, when did that show air? The one that you're mentioning? What year? In the 80s, 90s? I don't remember.
Which one? The Undressed.
Yeah.
Mm, why does that sound familiar? Now, keep in mind, I was like I said, I started to lose touch with MTV probably in the early '90s when everything started to.
I'll tell you when it started going down. Steve may agree when the what's it called? The Real World came out, something like that.
Oh,
That to me, that was the end of it. Then I ran over to VH1.
well, it sucked. There, I'm going to quote what Richard said. It flat.
You said it. I
I
did it.
I did not like the Real World. That was stupid. And then I think another one. I don't think it's MTV. Then you had one called Jersey Shore that followed. Ugh,
Not
I
gonna
don't.
lie, I did tune into that one a few times just to see how far it would go, and then like after like a minute or two, it was like, oh yeah, no, bad show, bad show.
Right now, to quote
Not family
Richard,
friendly. Put it that way. Not family friendly. No.
puke grossed me out. I'm gonna
Yeah,
like totally. There you go.
yeah.
No, it really did. I see. I don't handle reality show very well. Not really.
Steve, I know one thing you definitely love about the old TV shows. You love game shows. That's another show in and of itself, right?
Game shows. All right, we
Galloping
can
Gourmet. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
Galloping Gourmet. That was good. And yeah, Merv Griffin did introduce a lot of new singers. Yeah, that that he really, he was another one that put um, a lot of people on the map. Who remembers Porky the Pig?
Oh, definitely.
I do. Lawrence Welk. It's funny though.
I liked him too.
I can get into Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, me too.
I like his music, like the 12th Street Rag, to name
It
one.
was fun. I loved the bubbles. It was different.
I
And
used
then
to like.
Get Smart used to come on after that. What, Steve?
I used to like. Now Lawrence Welk had his own show.
Yes.
Sometimes on public television, every now and again they'll show it, and I'll just sit back and watch it. But Beat the
Oh,
Clock.
wow.
Oh, wow. Sunset. That's a good one. I remember Beat the Clock. That's a good one.
Yes.
Match Game, Hollywood
You're
Squares,
right, Richard. Christmas shows. Nice.
Card Sharks. What's My Line? To Tell the
I love
Truth.
Liberace. He was fun to watch.
Yeah,
I can't wait to
Liberace.
see his jackets. That's why.
Yeah, he was good.
Oh,
Oh,
Andy
yeah.
Williams. Loved him.
What was it that I told you the other day? Remember
I
I
know you
told
told
you
me a lot the other day.
this was an easy one. Now think back, the TV show Property Brothers.
Oh, Property Bro. Oh,
Do me, hey, even my subscribers, if you start, I want do an A/B comparison in your mind. If you look at the way Andy Williams looks and take the Property Brothers and get rid of the facial hair, tell me they couldn't be somehow related. I see a lot of facial. Even
you
you,
nailed it. When you pointed that out to me one day, I was like, oh my
yeah,
gosh. Oh
yeah.
my gosh. What a resemblance.
Dean Martin. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's
Did I see? Am I reading this right? The bottom comment, Steve.
Richard. You met Liberace.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
How
Oh
was
yeah.
he? Was he friendly? Was he sweet?
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Yeah. This is a good subject. I kind of figured it would be. So whoever suggested the TV show one, I know it was one of three people.
I think it was Sunset.
Yeah. Thank you. No, I'm glad because you know.
You're right, Tracy. What about those games? They were so fun. Oh my gosh,
The
the
Smothers
dating game,
Brothers. Yeah,
match
yeah.
game. Oh boy.
Tom and Dick.
Oh
Oh, they
my
were great.
gosh.
Dating Game was good with Jim Lang. Match Game with Gene Rayburn.
And I love to watch What's My Line reruns. I am
Yeah.
incensed. I'm obsessed. Excuse me, obsessed with those shows. How many times I tell you, Steve, I let them roll all the time, like binge watching 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm. So Richard said, "Yes, I was 17. He rubbed my back while shaking. Oh wow, that's cool.
Oh, what a
That's
friendly
nice.
person.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
password.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Funny that you mentioned password. Of course, we all know it started with Alan Ludden, Betty White's wife or husband, rather. I mean, and then of course it went into another password and then all time password or something, and then of course it went password plus, and then Bert Convy took it over in the '80s called Super Password, and I think you still have different chapters of that because I remember even in the 2000s there was one called $1,000,000 Password, and Regis Philbin used to host that one. That
Wow.
one I remember pretty well. Concentration. Yeah. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Jack Nars, the original Concentration, and then later, then you had Alex Trebek. But there might be a couple of three hosts I'm probably just leaving out of the picture, but those two stick out. Tattletales, yeah. Bert Convy, that was cool. Tracy, Family Feud is good, but I'm going to be honest with you. My favorite host of all time is going to be Richard Dawson. I'm still
Oh,
loyal to the original. I'm
oh
sorry
my
to
gosh.
say. I did like Ray Combs, the one that tragically took his own life, and I did like his version. Steve Harvey, well,
Richard Dawson met his wife, his eventual wife, on the show. She was a contestant. I had actually, one day I put it up on my community tab about 3 months back. You see them
Gretchen,
falling in love on the air. Amazing.
Gretchen. It was in 1981. She was a contestant.
Yes.
Good episode. I saw the episode. Well, not in first run, but I did see it. Um, Hi, Beth.
Hey, Beth, how are ya?
You Downs. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I'm liking this. I'm liking all the feedback that's coming.
Beth, you're in my generation. I could tell.
Let's see. Steve Harvey. Yeah, he does. He does. He tends to. It's like I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. I want to say it's almost like he tries to sugarcoat what he's. I'm not a sugarcoater. I'm just a plain spoken blah type person. But
Beth, you are
uh,
not older than dirt.
no, don't say that. You know what? Look, it's just a number.
Age is just a
You're
number.
on, you're only as young or as old as you feel, however the saying goes. Um, oh
70.
wow,
Oh, wow.
Richard Pryor, and now you're getting into some
Not going to
serious.
lie. I always liked George Carlin. I know some people felt he was a little controversial, but he was accurate.
Let me tell you, I've got some Richard Pryor and George Carlin albums,
Yeah.
and I haven't heard them in a while. I mean, I can go on YouTube and get it, but they were some funny. They were some funny people. Let me see.
She said, tell your body that. Oh, Beth.
Well, I mean, I'm just basing. That's just what I heard. I mean, I'm 47, but I don't feel a day over 37, 38. I still feel pretty good for my age. Um, oh, wow. Richard, okay. Joan Rivers. I liked her. Of course, she was on a lot of different
Yeah,
shows too.
she was
But
funny.
I do remember her, not only her talk show she had, which was superb, but Hollywood Squares. She was on there for a little while, I think in the 19. And John Davidson, who, that was mentioned, John Davidson was the host at that time. It wasn't Peter Marshall. Of course, that version had Paul Lynde, the one that played Uncle Arthur on Bewitched.
Good for you, Sunset.
Alan King. Oh,
And Beth, we love you. You have a wonderful sense of humor, honestly.
I don't mean to sound like a kid in a candy store, but I love what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I understand about knee pain. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Oh, okay. So you're 50. Well, that's not too terribly far. I'll be 48 on Halloween, so that's just right around the
50 is a
corner.
beautiful age. Oh, my word.
Yeah,
You
so
know what, Steve? Every year is a beautiful age. As long as like try to stay stress free. And if somebody tries to bring stress on you, allow yourself 2 minutes to feel stressed out, and then just kind of like say, well, now I'm done. Okay, I'm
right.
done feeling stressed out, and give yourself permission to enjoy your day,
Mhm.
no matter how old or young you are.
Well, Tracy and I were both Gen X's, so of course we grew up with the same TV and the same music, and you know we're what like a couple what 2 3 years apart. So Richard, yes, I got to
You
tell
love
you,
it, Tracy.
he mentions he loves Bewitched. I do too, but I got to make one exception. It has to be Dick York. Dick Sargent, yeah, he would. Where I would give Dick York an A plus, I would give Dick Sargent like a C because he brought a different dynamic.
Agree. If I was a writer to that show, Steve, I would have changed the character completely. Like, had her in a different situation, because everybody said, "Oh, I want the original Darren. I want the real Darren." I feel sorry for Dick York as for an actor having to do that. It's a tough role to fulfill. So the writers should have considered going completely, in my opinion, away from that character.
Hmm. Okay, Richard, you like both. Well, I'll tell you where I saw the different dynamic. The way that Dick York and Elizabeth Montgomery, their intimate moments, you saw, he would kiss her on the lips, and so Dick Sargent, not so much, and we know why. I'm not going to go into it. If you think back, and I accept everyone. I'm not pointing fingers. I don't do that. But because he being that probably had something to do with it.
There's an
I
additional reason, Steve. I learned later on that actually, and I don't like to talk about people who are deceased because they're not here to defend themselves. But from what I read, if it's true, that actually Dick York actually was a little bit infatuated with Elizabeth.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was. I think what happened is while they were working together, and I guess because they had those scenes so many times, I think it got to the point to where Dick York actually felt something for her. But keep in mind too, she was also married to William Asher at the time, the guy that
Right.
brought
She
the
she
show
was
about.
not she was not interested in him.
Yeah,
I mean, she was not interested in Dick York. Yeah.
right. Gomer Pyle. Well, golly. Yep.
Good stuff. Everybody's mentioning good stuff. I have a
Yeah.
question, another question, if you don't mind. Um, the current shows of right now, is there any current show that's like, man, I can't wait to go home and watch that show? Like the way you might have felt for a show back in the 60s or 70s or 80s.
Um, maybe one. I'll be honest with you. I do like the TV show Blue Bloods, and I'll tell you why. No, Tom Selleck is not Magnum this time, but I've always been a fan of Tom Selleck. I like him as an actor. Donnie Wahlberg, okay. Originally, New Kids on the Block, yes. And Tracy, you might remember that. You know, I grew up listening to that boy band. That was one of the ones that sticked out in my time. Of course, Menudo, but they didn't really catch on the same way. But I do like Blue Bloods. That's a good one.
Can we
Uh,
blame him? Absolutely not, Richard. I don't know how I mean, I cannot blame him. Absolutely not.
no, 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 you can't. I want to point out another one that Richard mentioned as well. I don't want to leave anything out. Hogan's Heroes. Now that was a good one with Bob Crane and of course Richard Dawson, Ivan Dixon, and the one that played Colonel Klink. He always made me laugh. I think to me he was like the star of that show. But let's see, the Goldbergs. Yeah, that the Goldbergs is pretty good. I can get into that one. The Connors. Yeah. Hmm, when I think of,
It's hard. It's hard.
it's hard to talk. I mean, yeah, it's Roseanne minus Roseanne. It's kind of like what they did with. Oh, this is a good show. You'll remember this one, Janet. It's like what they did with Valerie Harper on Valerie,
Yes.
all because she was wanting a little more money or maybe showing up late a couple minutes. They fire you from your own show. Of course, she won big when she took him to court. But and what did they do? They killed her character off, and then it became the Hogan. Well, no, first it was Valerie's family, and then it evolved to the Hogan family. So that's basically the same thing that they did with the Connors. But I still think Roseanne could have gotten treated better. I'm not going to get into that because, you know,
It was her show
right? We all say,
originally.
listen, we all say certain things. We can all be outspoken,
Yeah.
you know, but I think she should still be there. That's just me.
Right.
Um, let's see. Price is Right.
Love.
Okay. Sorry, Janet. It has to be Bob Barker.
I know.
I know he's way up there in age, but I got to have my. Listen, I spent days at home sick as a kid watching Bob Barker.
It was absolutely amazing. But when somebody's that amazing, the one that follows next, it is so hard for that person to, because yeah. You know what show I like? Shark Tank. I love the interplay of the business and the decision making, and I don't know who's going to come out next and what product they're going to pitch, and it's very. I love the strategies. Watching the strategies of the show.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see. Blue. Agree with you, Beth, that Blue Bloods is good, but they are running out of storylines. I know that Amy Carlson, the one that played Donnie Wahlberg or Danny Reagan's wife, they killed her off a few seasons back. I wish they hadn't. I kind of liked her, but um, you know, but that's a good show. Richard, You need to check it out. I'm trying. It comes on CBS, and I believe it's a Friday night show, unless they change the time. So you might want to check on that. But it's pretty good.
Well, let's make a deal.
No, Blue Bloods.
Oh, I'm sorry, because Richard's mentioning LMAD-Monty Hall.
Let's make a deal. Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then of course he had it too, right? You originally had Monty Hall, and then Wayne Brady came along later. Here's a fun fact, Janet. You may know this. Monty Hall has a daughter, well-known actress,
Who is it?
Joanna Gleason.
Oh, my word. How do you like that? Didn't know.
And she was on a TV show back in the late 70s called Hello, Larry,
Yes.
with McLean Stevenson. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes. Amazing.
Beth,
Yes.
Drew Carey is funny. He's good on What's My Line. He's good on the Drew Carey Show. I used to like to watch that. But I know you like him as a host, Janet, but
Thank you, Beth.
I'm a Bob guy. Sorry.
No. I think he just did an amazing job. Nobody ever replaces. No way. It's not possible. It's not possible. But I can tell you this, in my opinion, these shows were so great. Remember back when we were kids, because a lot of people in our age bracket, when we were kids, there were only like the major networks that provided those shows, right? And isn't it funny? People have hundreds and thousands of channels today, and they go, "Gee, there's nothing on TV."
Yeah.
And what are they watching? They go back to the old stuff that we saw first run on the major networks.
That's all I watch is the older stuff. I'll watch MeTV. I have Rewind TV on right now. I was watching Murphy Brown earlier. MeTV, Antenna TV, TV Land. You know.
I didn't know Drew Carey grew a beard. I haven't been watching him, so
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Oh my gosh, I have to check that out.
If you listen tomorrow, when you watch The Price is Right, you'll see what I'm talking about. No, Richard's right on that.
There's a reason why, because usually I have Hazel on at 11 a.m. as I'm trying to figure out my show notes. Oh, Hazel's on. Oh, show notes.
Oh, speaking of another good show, I left one out. It has to do with Norman Lear. One Day at a Time.
Sunset, excuse me, Steve. Sunset must be from my area, because it was 247, 911, and if you were really bad, you got stuck with 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from a kid's point of view.
But don't coming back to what I was saying. Don't forget about One Day at a Time.
Loved
Mackenzie
it.
Phillips, Bonnie Franklin. I think Valerie Bertinelli looks better now than she did back then.
Oh, she's always beautiful. Sunset 5, that's right. Channel 5, love.
Now, Janet, are these channels that Sunset is referring to? Is that
They're local New York stations. Well, the major networks, CBS aired on 2, NBC 4, ABC 7, WOR, then they changed it to WGN, then they changed it to something else now. 11, WPIX, which sometimes you switch over on your Fire Stick.
Right.
From where you live. And you go, you see how the other half lives, right? And 13 was Total Punishment when I was a kid, because if you had to watch 13, that means you had to like watch school type of shows.
Did
And
you?
back then, that was Total Punishment. Not like the great shows when Sesame Street started later on.
Yes, Richard pointed out another character from One Day at a Time that I left off, and he was one of the reasons why I watched the show. Pat Harrington, Schneider.
Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
I'm going to be honest with you. I truly believe, honestly, I think that man made that show. I just loved his sarcasm. That's something about.
He seemed very familiar. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know this person. Maybe everyone has a Schneider in their life. Very relatable.
Let's see. Romper Room. Wow.
Oh
Now
wow, Romper Room.
I used to watch that as a kid. Let's see, Bowery
Three
Boys. Yeah,
Boys. Yep. Captain
Captain
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Green Jeans.
Green
Yes, yes, yes. Come and knock on my door. Even though.
Jeans.
All right, Three's Company. All right. First off, all right. Now I'm going to get into Three's Company Cruise Control, but Suzanne Summers should not have spoken up and asked for that extra money. Why? But now that's all thanks to her husband at the time. But it caused Suzanne Summers to lose two good friends. For
Yeah.
years and years, John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt would not have anything to do with one another. And
By the way, that's not my dog. I don't own a dog. There's a
yeah,
neighbor who's not home, and this dog has been barking since I'm awake.
so I
Sorry,
think
guys.
I think I think Suzanne was at a party and she gets a phone call and it's John Ritter, and it was just before he passed away.
Mhm.
So I think that's how they patched things up. And then I think later, Suzanne Summers might have had like a small talk show. It's on YouTube. I looked it up. And Joyce DeWitt came on. And I think that's where they made up.
Well, that's
But
good.
I
But
didn't care for I didn't care for Jenny Lee Harrison on Three's Company. She she overdid the character. She tried to be Chrissy. It wasn't the same. But I'll tell you who I liked best. I really liked Priscilla Barnes, the one that played the nurse,
yes,
because that let everybody know, hey, she's blonde, but she can be more than just an
and she
airhead.
was funny. So Tracy says also loved as a child Mr. Dress Up. I'm not familiar
Hmm.
with that one, unfortunately. Alfalfa was on the Our Gang comedy. Some people call it Our Gang. Some people call it oh gee, oh what was that other name? The Little Rascals.
That was good. Let's
Yes,
see, Don Knotts. Yeah, I liked Mr. Furley. He was
I
pretty
liked him
good.
better though on Andy.
Andy Griffith. I gotta say, reverting back to Three's Company for, I actually preferred Mr. and Mrs. Roper, and I'll tell you why. Norman Fell and Audra Lindley, they're from theater. They have a lot of musical behind their background. But what I used to love about Norman Fell is he would make a wise comment and he would turn his head and laugh, and the camera would capture that.
Oh Lord.
You might remember back. But yep, exactly.
Steve, I'm gonna stop the cam on me for 1 second. I just want to check something. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, Richard Norman Fell. Exactly. He was a good actor. And of course Don Knotts. I liked him too. Oh wow, Tracy, Masterpiece Theater. I totally forgot about that one. But that was a good one. Beth, let me tell you, Perry Mason. I like Raymond Burr. I do like Raymond Burr. That was a good show, good clean court show. And then of course Barbara Hale. For those of you that may or may not know, Barbara Hale's son was a well-known actor named William Catt. And one of the movies that sticks out with William Catt was the original Sissy Spacek movie called Carrie back in the 70s. He was the blonde guy that took Carrie to the prom. That's Barbara Hale's son, in case those that may or may not know. Um, wow, Richard, I liked Ironside with Raymond Burr. That was a good show. Irons Talking about Ironside, the show that Raymond Burr
Yeah,
did after. Um,
yeah. No, I was able to hear. Thank you.
so that was a good one. Perry Mason. Yeah, I just can't get into primetime TV anymore. I haven't watched anything consecutive like show after show after show in prime time. Probably not since like 1992, 91, 92. And then it just started, to drift off after that some.
To me, TV started to decline when the show Friends came on. That's me. That's my opinion.
About
After
94.
Friends, yeah,
Even though that show would identify, because when Friends came on, I was about 20. I couldn't I couldn't grasp it. Although I will point something out. My favorite character on there, and I mean I've seen it. I like Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow. She was my favorite. She was the only one that had any sense. I mean, she really was. Um, okay, let's see. Mickey Clubhouse. Yeah, that's a good one. Matter of fact, you and I were talking about the Mickey Mouse Club a couple of days ago, I think. Okay, I also loved all the cooking shows on PBS.
I'm not loving it now, but I'm not getting into it.
Yeah. What about what?
I'm not loving anything related to Disney right at this moment. I'm not getting into
because
it.
I remember you told me.
Well, I just don't want to get into politics, but I personally am not into the.
Yeah.
We have enough mind control going on.
Cooking shows, I do like watching those. I do like the ones on PBS. Richard, as far as Friends go, you hadn't really missed anything. Seinfeld. All right. I'm going to tell you something about Seinfeld since that come up. Everybody loved Kramer on Seinfeld. To me, what Kramer did to Seinfeld is what Jimmy Walker did to Good Times. There's only so much dynamite that you can deal with. Even in that medical, putting money back in your check for the people on Social Security, it's overkill. But that's another story within itself.
That's a whole show.
Yeah, and I didn't care for Good Times after John Amos left.
Yes, William Catt was Barbara Hale's son.
Yep. Greatest American Hero. Yep. That was a goodie.
You love Highway Patrol, Steve. Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Broderick Crawford. That's a good one. I really like a lot. I do like 50s television.
I love Dragnet too.
Dragnet, yeah. Just the facts, ma'am. Now, Jack Webb. My name is Friday, I carry a badge. If it was not for him, there would be no Adam 12. There would be no emergency. He brought that about. Keep in mind, Julie London, the one that played McCall, the nurse. Of course, she had a music career in the 50s as well. She was married to Jack Webb at one time.
Wow.
But on the show Emergency, Julie London and Bobby Troup, they were husband and wife off camera.
Who remembers the badge number on the Dragnet intro or an outro? The 3 numbers on the badge. Well, my mother, God rest her soul, knew it. She always told me it.
I know the answer. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut though.
Okay.
In the meantime, while they're thinking about that,
Mod Squad. Yes.
Mod Squad, that was awesome. That kicked butt. That was a good show.
You could knock your image off camera and just press stop cam.
I'll have to call her back.
If you have to check something, okay.
No, she can wait. It's a friend of mine. No disrespect. Beth Davis has it. That's exactly right. 714.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Knight Rider. Think about something about Knight Rider. If you think about the technology, Kit talking to his watch. Think about something today. We have an Apple Watch. We can do everything right there on that. You can make a phone call and talk right here.
That's right. Dick Tracy. Look at the Jetsons. How many comparisons, Steve?
Meet George Jetson, daughter Judy. Yeah, that was good.
When they would watch, Mr. Slade on the screen. when he wanted to tell his boss something on a TV screen.
Let's see.
Not Mr. Slate. I forgot his name. Mr. Slate was from the Flintstones. Forgive me. Spacely. Spacely, I think his name.
That sounds pretty accurate. Let's see. Starsky and Hutch. Oh, I love David Soul and what's his name? Paul Michael Glazer, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Of course, we know David Soul had one hit back in '77. Don't
Yep.
give up on us. That was
Yes.
Matlock.
Oh.
I'm going to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong. I do like Andy Griffith. I like the show a lot. But I like seeing Andy Griffith as a lawyer.
He was great on that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Dukes of Hazzard. Bo and Luke, Tom Wopat and John,
Yes.
John Schneider. And of course, all the guys used to watch, for Daisy, and all that. But yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, just a good old boys, never meaning no harm. Well, Richard can relate, going back to the old country, Waylon Jennings. But let's see. Jetsons, right? Charlie's Angels.
Chips, Tracy said. Wow.
I like Charlie's Angels. Believe it or not, everybody liked Farrah Fawcett, Cheryl Ladd, Jacqueline Smith. You know who I liked? I liked Kate Jackson.
Sure.
And then, of course, if you think back to the 1980s, and she did a TV show called Scarecrow and Mrs. King on CBS.
Okay, I got a story for you about Gilligan's Island. My first ever crush on any man would be Gilligan. But then again, I was only in the first grade. I thought he was the cutest thing since popcorn. Oh, Gilligan. I was obsessed. Everybody else was watching the monkeys. I had to watch Gilligan.
Yeah. You know who I liked on Gilligan's Island only because I could relate to him? The professor.
Yeah.
First off, I am not going to be the skipper. I'm certainly not Gilligan. He was part of the reason why they wound up there. No disrespect to your boyfriend, by the way.
Yeah, but he blamed Gilligan.
Right. But no, I loved Russell Johnson's character. That man could figure anything out. It almost reminds me of me because I'm good about, solution solving and things like that. Let's see. The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. All right. Funny that you mentioned that. The guy in that show, Edward Mulhare, was on Knight Rider as Devon. But that's a good show. I like the Ghost. I've seen that.
So I asked the live viewers that are on chat about their favorite shows of the current. I think I got one. Count them. One. What is that telling us? Because I feel the same way.
What is that telling? What is that telling you and me?
Yeah.
That primetime TV is garbage.
Yeah. Yes, it needs improvement. Because that's another show I used to like to watch, by the way, Home Improvement. I thought that was cute.
Cute. Tim Allen.
It was cute.
All right. You want to know that the only character I really cared for on Tim Allen was funny, although he kept screwing up. I liked the mom.
Yes, she was believable. That character was like a regular mom,
Here's one. All right, Richard, Beth, Sunset, Tracy. Tracy might remember this. Yes, All in the Family. That, although I did like Carol O'Connor a little better as Chief Gillespie on In the Heat of the Night. Of course, we know it was a
fine actor. Carol O'Connor was a fine actor.
But yeah, let's see. Trying to think. Yeah, Home Improvement. That was a good one. Craig T. Nelson. Coach Shelley Fabrez.
Kate and Allie didn't get enough rerun airtime. I thought that show was very funny.
Funny story about Kate and Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Susan St. James was married to Dick Ebersol, who's a part of Saturday Night Live. But Jane Curtin was one of the original cast. So everything made full circle there, if you think about it. Let's see. I love Chips. Robert Pine had a son, Chris Pine, that my granddaughter loved. He was insane. Right. Chips is cool. Of course, everybody liked Eric. Larry Wilcox was good as John Baker, although I heard that they didn't get along off screen, which I didn't see that. And then later, when Larry left, you had Tom Riley come in to take the place. But yeah, that's a good show.
All right, I have to intrude a second, Steve. Speaking of shows, I want to thank everybody in advance. I have to brag. I'm dangerously close to 2K subs. I want to thank you and excuse my throat.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, Janet's approaching her 2,000 mark. I'm even though I'm nowhere near that, I'm approaching 200.
Whoa, excuse me.
Milestone for me. Let's see. Incredible Hulk. Yep. The Littlest Hobo. I forgot about that one. Tracy, give me a break. Now that's our time. Nell Carter, Dolph Sweet, Laurie Hindler, Laura Jo Miller, Kari Michelson. That was a good one. I used to love watching Thelma Hopkins. Of course, we know used to be with Tony Orlando and Dawn.
My
but
allergies
again,
make me here. Excuse me, guys.
Again, back to the music, but what can I say? Cheers. Yeah. I like Cheers. Coach was good. I prefer Diane over Rebecca.
Yes, Car 54.
Rebecca, I had a crush on Kirstie Alley as a teenager.
The Honeymooners. Yay.
Car 51, that was good.
Car 54.
Car 54, right? That had
Al Lewis
and Fred Gwynn. That's it. Thank you.
They remained friends forever, and they worked together on many projects. Obviously, as you know, the Munsters followed later on.
Yeah. The Honeymooners. To the moon.
And I had the pleasure of actually meeting Fred Gwynn. Very nice man. He was a very nice man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Honeymooners. Yeah, let's not forget To the Moon, Alice. Yeah, Tracy, Different Strokes. Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad that Todd is the only one living, Of course, Gary had, health issues, and then Dana Plato with all that drugs and the sad part is the child that she was pregnant with, because she wasn't on the show like on the last year or two, the son that she was carrying, he wound up taking his own life as well.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, Different Strokes. That was good. That was a good show. That was a spin. The Facts of Life, as we all know, Mrs. Garrett started there, and then The Facts of Life was a spinoff from.
All right, where did the mom from Good Times come from? Let's see if they know.
I know.
Oh yeah, Who's the Boss was good.
Yeah, Tony Danza. I watched Who's the Boss prior to Roseanne, Tuesday at 8. I had a crush on Alyssa Milano back then, but then again, what boy didn't? Let's see.
Tony Danza used to have an Italian store in Manhattan years ago. Not that many years ago, maybe about 2-3 years ago.
Oliva.
Yes, that was the one.
No, I know the character, the mom from Good Times, because I know where she came from. I know the show. I've already mentioned it, but that was earlier in the show.
Right. Well, if you give up, guys, if you want to mention it, Steve.
And then there's Maude. And then there's Yeah, most people forget. That's where, but you know what? This is what I don't understand. In the TV show Good Times, Maude was never mentioned. What? when the Jeffersons went on to do their own show, Archie and Edith came up in conversation, quite a few times along the way. But
Was it on the same network, Steve, or did they switch networks? That could
no,
be
there
a
was no
reason.
CBS.
CBS.
Hmm. Sanford and Son. Yeah, yeah. You fish-eyed fool. You old heathen. Yep, 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 yep. I
Oh,
love.
Alice was funny. Yes.
Kiss my grits. Yeah,
Back then in the 70s had a fantastic evening lineup that I remember.
yeah.
It was right. It had like the remake of Candid Camera, then All
Alan.
in the Family, right? You remember this, Steve? And then Mary Tyler Moore, and then the Bob Newhart show, and then, believe it or not, Carol Burnett. And then it used to be Mondays, then it switched to Mondays, and then I used to love the Sonny and Cher show. All this is showing that I'm as old as dirt too, but I really have fond memories of great TV.
Okay, Sunset just dropped a good one. Does that ring a bell to you? I know the answer.
Oh,
I know the answer.
Gloria.
Yeah, they decided to. I guess when Archie Bunker's Place come out, they decided to spin off Gloria's character, and that's what that was.
And it made me sad that didn't last because that kind of would have been okay. How long did it last? It was really short.
Maybe a few episodes a season. Maybe
Yeah, it wasn't even like I don't even think a full season.
Rose just mentioned a really good show.
Hey, Rose, how are you?
Not only The Equalizer. Now, I'm partial to the original Equalizer, the one that came out in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it became a movie with Denzel Washington and all that. A couple parts 1 and 2, and now we got it back. Now you got Queen Latifah playing the. No, I can't. I'll stick with the original. I'll stick with what I know is good.
There's something about most of the time, not necessarily all of the time, but there's something about originals of things, like original records, original songs, and people spin off things, remakes, whatever. To me, there's nothing like the original. That's me. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, creature of habit. Sometimes, however, the cover is actually better. There are some cases where the cover is better. In music, especially.
I'll give you a little bit of an example. The song was never a hit. You're more than welcome to look it up. There was a song in the 60s, right around 65 or 6. And the name of the song is called The Loved One by the Loved Ones. But in the 1980s, In Excess, that real popular rock group, they decided to do a cover of it. Way, way better than the original. But the song was never a hit, but it's on the album.
How do you like that?
Huh.
Thank you, Rose.
Here's another good example. Iggy Pop put out the song China Girl. Okay, in the late 70s. David Bowie does a version of it. His version's way better.
P.S. That was also a movie by the same name, I guess unrelated. It was a good movie. It was a very underrated movie.
Let's see, Sunset. Up your nose with a rubber hose.
I love that show.
There. Hi there.
I was Welcome Back, Kotter, because I actually ended up teaching in the same school that I went to as a child. And I have to say, it had its awkward moments because the same teachers that I used to, refer to as Mrs. Miles, Miss Wozniak, then all of a sudden I'm their peers. And I'm like, I still kept like calling them that in the beginning. They were like, it's okay, Janet, you could call me by my first name now.
But you know what? Of all the sweat hogs, my favorite one was Freddie Boom Boom Washington. I loved him. Lawrence Hilton.
I believe it.
Hey, what's happening, Mr. Cotter? I mean, just the way I just love that Cotter. The way And he went on. Not only did he become a good actor too, but he put out some music back in the latter '70s. I mean, he got into a little bit
He
of the
did.
disco stuff or yeah, you'd have to look it up on YouTube. It's pretty good. Um, oh, Richard's asking you what grade did you teach?
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard. I didn't see that. Sorry. I taught 2 grades. I taught the third grade for 4 years, and then I taught grade 6 for 3. And I taught every single subject, including religion, in a self contained classroom. And my largest class size was like 48 kids. Yes, 48. Yes.
Wow. Well, of course, we've talked about this 100 times before,
Maybe
but
101.
but most of you who may or may not know, I was a I was a I could have been in Jan's class. Pro- probably probably more toward the sixth grade side. I'm thinking. Um, yeah, probably around the.
Well, you were
Okay,
born in 74. My daughter was born in 79. And, she ended up not in my class, but like the opposite third grade. I taught 3-1. She was in 3-2. So like we had 2 grades for every single grade. That three
okay,
one, 3-2, 1-1, 1-2, 2-1, 2-2. Because it's a city.
yeah. Well, I myself, for a couple of years, I did go to Catholic school. You know, much harder learning than public school. That's for sure. I mean, you pretty much ate, slept, and drank your studies, but I found kind
And
of.
that's true. And by the way, that's fine. That's fun, Sunset. Your favorite grades were 3 and 4. Yeah. Even me too. I loved them too when I was growing up. Um the thing is there are some teachers that honestly at 2:30, like when the day is over, that's the end of their day. Then there are teachers that bring their work and their emotions home and really, really dedicate themselves. And I'm not bragging, but I was that teacher. I didn't just say, okay, well, it's 2:30, goodbye, my day is over. I didn't do that.
Hmm.
And that was one of the reasons why I ended up leaving because after 7, 8 years, I was only supposed to remember, Steve, I was only supposed to be a fill in for what, 3 days? And they wouldn't let me go.
No.
Turned into 8 years. I said, I'm done now.
Well, you started teaching school in one of my favorite music years of the '80s, 1984.
Yeah.
Even though I was 10, but a lot of good music come out in '84.
The day
But
before my birthday of 1984. I remember that vividly.
believe it or not, third and fourth grade was pretty good. My favorite grade was actually sixth.
Yeah.
Some
Honestly,
of
my
the
favorite grade was grade 7 when I was a child. I loved grade 7.
Oh, so you with the pre-algebra and then
I loved being
look at
11,
that.
12 years old. The music was perfect. The world was, from a child's eyes, not an adult's eyes, a lot of tumultuous stuff, but there's always tumultuous stuff. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I'm just having fun. It was just really, really great.
Yeah. Teaching sure has. Yeah, Richard, teaching has changed. I
You're not
mean,
kidding.
I listen. I haven't sat in a classroom since 1990. And
Wow.
if you watch, and the story, I'm thinking, but if you go back and look at one of my getting personal with myself, I mentioned, yeah, I dropped out of high school. Ninth grade, I dropped out. I had enough. I was dealing with a lot of ridicule and a lot of issues at home. But, again, 3 years later, without studying, I just went and took the GED and I passed it the first time. And I think a lot of that had to do with me going to private school. That was pretty hard studies. It really, I mean,
Oh yeah, there are stricter standards. You're not just occupying a chair. You're not just getting socially promoted. No, you had to work for your grade.
mhm,
And you want to know something? I like that.
yeah.
Makes you a better person.
But no, I agree with Richard. I wouldn't teach today. I wouldn't go to school today if you paid me.
If they offered me $1
Again,
million a year salary, I wouldn't. How many times I told you that, Steve? I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it.
please, if they offered me a salary to be a student, I wouldn't go.
There is a book, 1984, that is coming true now. Oh yeah, you know what's so funny about that, Sunset? When I was a kid and I heard the numbers 1984, that sounded so futuristic. And here we are in 2022, and now it seems so old.
Please, in 1984, I'm trying to think.
You were 10.
Right. Of course, I was listening. Forgive me. I got to revert back to the music. That again. That's. Don't forget. I was into Prince. I was into Duran Duran. I was into Hall and Oates. You know all that good music you had back then. You know, music that was. Let me just say, music that was worth listening to.
Steve, I'm going to test you on a question. Speaking of Hall & Oates, what song was playing, blasting a car, the first time I walked into that chaotic classroom when the kids had their desk all over the place because the teacher that preceded me had no control over that class and went berserk and literally left the class? Do you remember?
You're out of touch.
That's
I'm
it.
out of time. 'Cause I'm out of my head when you're not around.
That's it. You remembered.
Yep. Richard, yeah, 80s. Yes, agree. I mean, I can get into pretty much anything from the 80s.
Fun
I
says
now,
was making peanut butter. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
all right. No, I'm gonna tell off on myself for those that don't. I'm a hair band. I'm a hair band kid. Motley Crue, Rat, Poison, Cinderella. What am I leaving? Kix, Kix. I'm into all Cinder. I think I meant Cinderella.
Poison. I think you said Poison, right?
Poison, Skid Row.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Excuse me, Sunset. It says, Jan, I am making stretching PB now. What do you mean stretching, dear?
What is PB? Peanut butter?
Yeah, stretching PB now. You mean you're stretching your peanut butter with some other ingredient?
Yeah, we. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boys. She'll chew you up.
Steve will never debate you on that one, Richard, about the 80s music being the best.
That was my time. That's
That was
what I
his
grew
time.
up with as a kid.
Even though I was in my 20s, but that was his time. Okay.
Yeah. It's your time too, because you used to.
Yeah, it was my time too. It was Richard's time too.
Well, yeah.
It was. Same age. Man Eater, that was a good song. Rose says, you're good, Steve.
Oh, thank you. You know what? When it comes to Daryl Hall and John Oates, of course, I like all their music. One song in particular stands out for me. For those of you who have not heard it, I do recommend it. It was not a big hit for them. It's on the same album with Out of Touch, but the name of the song is called Some Things Are Better Left Unsaid. Not a big hit but I just always thought it was underrated. Mm-hmm.
Some of the best stuff really, truly was underrated. Sunset says, oh, you're watering down your peanut butter. You know, that's right. You did mention that to me recently, I think in the comment section, right? About how you do something to, do you whip it? No, I'm not talking about the song.
Whip it into shape, shape it up, get straight. Devo. But you know what? When it comes to Devo, I can think of other songs besides Whip It. I'm going to be honest.
I know, but for some reason, we always associate all of us.
Right, that's the first thing that's going to pop up. Exactly.
The whole world does that. Oh, Devo. Oh, Whip It. No, but seriously, Sunset. So do you take like a hand mixer? And then actually I heard that it doubles in volume if you do it that way. Because you're aerating it. And I bet it makes it like a much better texture.
Now, Richard asked a question, Peaches and Herb. From what day? Actually, two.
That's right.
You've got Peaches and Herb in the 60s. And then you have the 70s version, like Shake Your Groove thing and Reunited. So that's it. But keep in mind, the woman that was in Peaches and Herb in the 60s is a different woman than what you had in the 70s. But I remember
Not bad for a gentleman born in 1974 to know all that.
well, I've like I said, I used to, I played a lot of music. I listened to a lot. I recorded a lot. You all know the story behind that: the reel to reel, the cassette, the DAT, the mini disc. I was a music. I still am, but
You still are.
yeah.
Excuse me a second. Sunset
What?
says she's making it smooth. I'm assuming, Sunset, you are a lady. I'm assuming, but I could be wrong. Sunset, you're making it smooth with that water, with hot water mixed by hand. So, what is the ratio? How much peanut butter to the water? You just eyeball it. Let me know if you just eyeball it. Oh, yeah, Reunited. That was a good song, Richard. I'm always looking for tips and tricks for the folks to anytime you guys have, like, coming back to my channel for a second, anytime you guys have tips and tricks to stretch food, please share, because especially now, you know how I am, you know what my mission is, and you know how, to heart this is for me. So anytime you have a budget stretcher, please feel free to always indicate that in the comment section, on my channel anytime.
Sunset mentions that it's an even ratio.
Oh, thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Does it get too thin, however, Sunset, or is it doesn't get too watery, the peanut butter?
that's what I'm wondering.
I have to try that one day. I really do.
I wonder. With you mentioning that, you kind of put me in the when you add water.
It's heaven. Oh,
Well, think about when you think about adding water to peanut butter to thin it down. Wouldn't it eventually come out like a gravy consistency?
I think you're right. Okay, so it's sort of like a lathery feel, right? Like a silky feel.
No, because in you talking about it, it kind of made me. Um, but Richard makes a lot of sense too. I have to. I like what he says here. He says, "I'm not a cook. Why would you add water to peanut butter? Not
That, that's an attempt to stretch the peanut butter, because times are harder right now and prices are ridiculous. And if there's any way we could stretch a buck, we're going to do it. That sounds really interesting. But I'm curious. You know what? She's got my Sunset has my curiosity going on that.
no, no,
What?
no. The reason why I'm waving my finger is, let's say you're doing a recipe with peanut butter, but let's say you bought a jar of peanut butter that's too small. Listen to this. You could take Sunset's tip, take the peanut butter, water it, stretch it out, and if you put it in a recipe that stretches out, what it's going to do is it's going to give you more peanut butter to make that recipe. It's actually a helping hand. I mean, I get Richard's point. Why would you want to add it? I mean, and that makes sense. I mean, I've never heard of that.
Sunset also is making sense because because of the fact that it has oil properties in it, it eventually rethickens again.
Oh, let me see it. It makes peanut butter extra smooth. Okay, mix 2 minutes. Makes it like that when it's.
Do you suggest an electric mixer, Sunset, or do you like manually do it like with a wooden spoon? I mean, or a whisk? $2. Thank you, dear.
This has got me thinking.
You got us wondering here.
The thing of it is I like to I like to cook things. So
This is why viewer comments are like so amazing. Yeah, I feel bad for the kids today too. Premia, that's right, Rose. I would imagine that's the deal.
let me tell you. I want to just tap on
Sure.
Rose's. If I by hand with fork, okay.
Thank you.
If I had children, I'm homeschooling them. Sorry.
Yeah.
The woman, a good friend of mine, one that I know here, um, she homeschools her kids. A good friend of mine. I don't want to mention her name,
No,
but
no, no,
she,
no, no, no.
well, she is. I think she's a subscriber, so if she watches this far into the video, she'll pick up and relate to who she is. But um, okay,
Oh, congratulations to your grandson, Beth.
yeah, congratulations, Beth. That's great. Graduation is a wonderful thing. You know.
My grandson is due to graduate too this year. I don't know
Oh,
where
is
the
he?
time is going. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Tell me about scary.
Well, my youngest nephew has one more year of college. He's a junior right now, and then he'll start his senior year, and then that'll be it. Um,
Linda says, as long as it didn't make your sandwich soggy. So I'm assuming, Sunset, that you wait for it to reconstitute a little bit before you spread. What about jelly? Did you enter jelly in there? Remember that trick you taught me, Steve, with the because you know that product has the jelly and the peanut butter stripes in it? You can make your own. Steve showed me this trick.
okay, I have. Matter of fact, this newscaster on my local channel. He also has a YouTube channel. I just found out. He takes peanut butter and whatever jelly, jam, preserves, mixes it in a bowl, and then applies it to his bread. And if you think about that, that's actually a better method because it's all together instead of
Yeah,
having to apply one and then
yeah.
apply the second and then it
It's
can get all
neater.
messy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And another thing, the ones that I love, I only buy that like once every 3 years. I get like really crave it. You're not getting value on that. It's whipped peanut butter, probably the same method of Sunset, okay? And then just the striped jelly. You put your own jelly. You could control the amount, and you make your own spread. A lot less expensive.
yeah. Um. Well, I just I'm looking at the time. I notice how.
Richard says that he loves Reader's Digest. I know, Steve. Reader's Digest is behind you. He said he loves Reader's Digest,
Yeah,
Richard.
I had just
Oh,
commented
I'm
backwards
sorry.
that. Yeah, I
Mashed
like it
sliced
too.
potatoes, yum.
No, Reader's Digest has always had a lot of good stories in them. That's one of the things that that's still to this day draws me. If a magazine or something doesn't interest me, I won't even bother with it. It has to be something I like.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, if you and it's real easy to tell if I like something or hate something. If you see me read one or two pages and set it down, I'm I'm good. It has to be something like music or television or about old cars, something that interests me. I'm not necessarily saying guy stuff, so to speak, but it has to be something that reaches out and grabs me. Otherwise, I'm just
Okay. To your point, Steve, listen to this suggestion as far as gifts go. Do not, and I say it kindly and in bold print, a strong suggestion. Never get anyone a magazine subscription as a gift unless you know that that person is interested in that magazine. Because otherwise, you're wasting your money and they feel annoyed every time it comes every month. They're like, well, what am I going to do with this? I don't even like the subject. So, strong suggestion, right?
look at my face. I have a comeback.
Just saying.
I hate to sound like Mr. Know It All, which I'm not, but I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I've been down that road before. Oh, but you bought me the wrong color. Why didn't you get me the one with the. Okay,
No, but
fine.
it's different with a subscription. It's like a monthly reminder
Yeah.
of some. I went through this and I felt more badly for the person who was so sweet to think of me But I'm like, but I don't like this.
No, I know where you're going with this.
This.
Whether it's an actual store item, okay. If you want to give somebody a subscription to a magazine, why don't you just send them the subscription itself to where they can choose whatever magazine they want?
Exactly. Or ask them. And then just be honest. You know, we're adults. We can ask questions like that. Do you like a magazine?
That's why a lot of the time for the holidays, Christmas, birthdays, Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday, here's a gift card.
Amen to that.
I do that because I'll go out and get what you want, but I might buy the wrong one. So let me see. Yeah, okay, let's see. A Reader's Digest cookbook. You know, it's funny though about the old-timey cookbooks, the ones that you get off the shelf and you open and you make your own recipes, like we did back in the day, instead of referring back to. And that's where Richard's comment comes in. Digital has destroyed print media.
100% correct.
It really has. I mean, everything now, you can go online and Google and type it in and it's all bam. Sometimes I have to agree with Sunset and also agree with Richard, a two-parter. Yeah, sometimes I like reading an old-timey cookbook. Guess what? People forget some of those old recipes that don't always get transferred over is better than what you can find on the internet. People don't think about that. Think about that for a minute. There's a lot of recipes that get lost that you only find in books, cookbooks.
No, I agree. That's something. See, like I said, if you check with the person, the intended party, ask them if they're interested in that subject or magazine. Okay, like I like Women's Day magazine. Okay,
that's a good one.
Magazine called Women's World. Somebody ever got me a subscription to that? Thank you. But if a person's going to get me like some scientific crazy thing, I don't care about stuff like that. Just saying.
Yeah. So Sunset here she says, Sunset says, for Christmas I give 2 gift bags, 1 food, 2 spa.
That's it. I love your gift.
and those are nice. It's mainstream. I mean, how can you say no? We all have to eat, right? So that pretty much. And a lot of the time, I've gotten food gift bag before.
That's a great gift.
I've been pretty happy with what I've been given. Okay. The spa. Okay. That would be a good one too. Yeah, Richard. I mean that. I'm just. That's just. Not just in a cookbook sense, but music and things like that too. Movies, a lot are left out. Let's see. Beth says, I'm going to try watering down. You know what? I'm tempted to try that too, but I'll tell you where I would like to do the watering down peanut butter is if I have to make a recipe that involves peanut butter.
There was a recent recall of Skippy, so don't get Skippy since we're on the subject.
No, I'm more of a Peter Pan Jif type.
Me too.
Right. But don't get me wrong, I've bought store brand too and been just as happy. I'm just telling off. But
all right, I have to make an official announcement, Steve. I'm at 1975.
Ooh.
Okay. 25 more stubs to go.
I was 1. Well, that's another story, but anyway.
Hey, wait a minute. What is your sub count, Steve? 182, about 182. Something like that? I can't wait till you hit the 200. This means if you like a video and it offers value, don't just I don't want a pitiful slam dunk.
No.
If you like the video and it offers value and you know someone who could use it, don't hesitate to share it. And guess what else, Steve? Many people think they are still subscribed, and the algorithm, by whatever method, unsubscribes people sometimes. So I'm going to ask everyone who's viewing this, check to make sure, since you do enjoy our shows, that you are subscribed to our channel. Sometimes it unsubscribes you. You didn't do anything wrong. It just happens. It has happened to me a million times. So check it to make sure that you still are actually subscribed. Thank you.
Keep in mind on my part, the latter part of February, like the 24th, 25th, 26th, I was in the high 140s, like 147, 148. Now I'm at 182. That's only 5 weeks ago. So that can happen.
That's fantastic. I really will be thrilled to see you at the 200.
Yeah. Let's see. Sunset says, one food, one spa. I buy shampoo, razors, lotion that I buy through. Yeah, and a lot of the time you can catch a lot of that stuff on sale too if you know
Beth's going to
spend.
try watering down some of her PB. All right.
Yeah, I use Kraft Smooth, just peanuts, pretty watery. Okay. I will tell you this though, on a jelly note, I never really have been a fan of jelly. I'm really more of a jam, marmalade, preserve type. Why?
Me too.
Why? Because I like texture. I'm after the texture. My most favorite one is orange marmalade.
I know it's so good. I like those little pieces of the peel in there.
It's good with peanut butter.
It's too good. Hey, Granny Prepper, how are you?
Hey, Granny Prepper. Good to see you. Long time. Let's see. Yes, I have had several people.
See?
Right. Yeah.
Bingo. Thank you, Granny Prepper. Thank you.
Now I will say this. There is a couple people earlier in the year um,
Mm.
that were uh, there were a couple people that I had that I don't see anymore. Oh, let's see. I'm going to do something here. I have a comment by a person that I'm not familiar with, but I thought I'd go ahead and hang him out to dry. Read that. This show racist. Y'all need more diversity. That's your that. You know what? You know what, Dan L. I don't know where you came from. I don't know who you are, but look at all these other people here versus you. I've got at least 8 or 9 people here that say just the opposite. So that's 8 to 1. So you lose. That's wrong. You know what, Dan L? You can, no disrespect, but I don't need that kind of attitude or subscriber on my page.
So Granny Prepper says that she had to resubscribe to you. Did anyone else experience the subscription problem? I don't know why that happens, but it does.
All right, Granny Prepper had to resubscribe. I'm going to just say glad.
Well, this is like I said, it's an algorithm thing.
Matter of fact, you know what?
Don't worry, Steve. Just go on with your show.
I will. No, I'm gonna. No, Richard, you and I are on the same page. I'm gonna get rid of him ASAP. I don't need people like that. It didn't upset me. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. One, I don't know if I've ever told any of you guys, those that you may or may not know. Janet knows this very well. She and I have been friends now for coming up on 6 years. I may be 47, but on a mental level, I'm probably in the baby boomer stages. I'm probably like mid late 50s. So I'm actually mentally older when I talk than what you hear me. I don't. There's times I don't mentally speak like a 47-year-old. It's actually older.
I always forget.
Yeah, Richard. Thank you. You know, a lot of you here. That's the best I can do. I'm shaking your hand in a internet kind of way, but I appreciate that. Um, but he's gone, Beth. I'm going to get rid of him. I'm going to look him up. I'm going to put him on my block list. I don't need people full of hot air like that. I really don't. Life's too short. It's just,
Oh wait, Granny Prepper, not to intrude, but Granny
yeah.
Prepper also got dropped from Homestead Tessie and a few others.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I went through this, like, let's say with fellow, co-YouTubers. I went through this, for example. I like to, be a good viewer as well as, as a person that creates content. So I naturally watch certain people all the time. Then I'm like, gee, so and so hasn't uploaded like since forever ago. And then I go and check, and it says like it's not subscribed. Like, oh, no wonder I didn't get any notifications. So I don't know why that happens, but that's why it's really important. Every once in a while, I'd say once a month, to give it a check.
Hmm.
Because you don't want to miss your fan favorite shows. I don't want to miss my fan favorite shows
Right.
because I'm a viewer more than a content creator.
Um, this is a two-part. I'm going to try to answer two parts
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry.
No, you're fine. One of the questions Richard brings up, since you've been on YouTube longer, you may be able to answer it. He asked if I can report him to YouTube. Is there a way to do that?
Well, first of all, honestly, if it was my show, this is your show, but if it were my show, I wouldn't even qualify any discussion whatsoever and just slam a few buttons and
Okay.
keep going.
Um,
But that's me.
yeah. No, Sunset, don't you worry. I am not taking it personally. First off, he's just showing me his immaturity and how
Yeah, let's
stupid he
move on,
really is.
Steve. Don't even qualify it. Go
No,
on to the next.
no,
These
I'm
other
not.
people are nice enough to be here.
Right. Again, yeah, thank you, Richard. Let's see. Frugal working man. Well, I've been a subscriber for a while now, and I can honestly say I've heard some uncomfortable racist things too. Very unfortunate you guys are attacking Dan. Americans sure do hate free speech. Yeah. All I can do on that one is
No
just
one's attacking anyone. We're having fun on a show. End of
that's all we're
subject.
doing. That's all we're doing. Yeah.
And that's it. Steve, you want to close the show because I want to talk to you.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys,
I want to thank you guys for being here.
I just want to thank all of you for being here. I'm going to just do this right here. I don't want to leave anybody. I don't want to leave anybody without, I try to answer. I do 110% to answer everybody's comments. At times you'll even see me go and comment back to a comment that somebody said, if I want to talk to somebody, a subscriber, and that's all I can do. I'll just go back to a comment that they left and I'll reply back. Um, you know,
Steve, I'm going to kick out of the show.
I'm gone.
Bye, everybody.
All right, hang on a minute. I'm gone. I just want to say, everybody have a good day. I'm glad that everybody could be here, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday with Recipe Tuesday.
Thanks for the
Take
good
care.
memories, guys.
Right. Bye for now.
Bye.